What's different about the way that your guys up front will need to play under Joe's new defensive system?
You know what? Things are going to be very similar, so we won't change a whole lot. To be real honest with you, but we'll definitely be a lot more aggressive at times. But for the most part, we're going to be very, very similar to what you guys seen for the last, 5 to 6 years.
Ryan Wood.
From a technique standpoint.
I was going to ask you, you kind of just answered it there. Things will be very similar, but for you, what's this offseason been like learning your third defense since you've been here? Is it kind of a routine at this point, or what's it been like for you?
You know what? The old saying is there's nothing new that pops up. These defenses have been around for a long time. It's just which system are you in, and how does the front have to adapt to that system? And for the most part, like I said, we're going to be very, very similar up front. But learning-wise, there's been some carryover, which has been great. And I think the guys have been picking it up very well.
Coach, Kenny Clark mentioned a couple weeks ago that he had slimmed down in anticipation of maybe being moved around a little bit more this year. A, is that the plan? And B, how much does TJ help in that regard as far as having a big body in the middle that maybe you can plan around, at least on early downs?
Well, first and foremost, just adding depth helps. So getting TJ here and getting him developed will be a big part of that. But Kenny, he's just, if you guys know him in the offseason, this guy trains hard. So if he wants to tighten something up a little bit, hey, more power to him. It's just going to make him, more athletic than he already is. But no, that's nothing we've asked him to do. He's just, he's always a guy that comes in great shape, and he looks good right now. So as far as moving around, he's always played multiple spots for us, not just a nose. So that will continue with him.
Mark Daniels.
Hey, Jerry, good to see you. I want to go back to TJ Slaton. He's about as big as you've had since you've been here. Talk about his athletic movement skills, his hands, the things you really want to look at this time of year.
Yeah, no, pretty big fella, body fat's down. Ultimately we got to get him to buy in and learn how we do things around here. And as he does that, he'll continue to develop into a good football player. So, but from a size standpoint, yeah, big, massive body. He moves extremely well for his size. And, I look forward to him growing each day in each practice. And we talked to him about stacking days, positive days, not negative days. You got one good day, let's put another one together. And so the more of those we put together, the better product we'll get come fall. So.
Mike Spofford.
Hey, Jerry, I'm sure Joe watched a lot of film from last year and developed his own opinions on guys. I'm curious if you can take us into the process a little bit, just how you guys as position coaches maybe tried to help Joe get to know your players and what you think your guys would do best in his system.
Well, Joe went and watched every single game by himself, and he had a pretty good idea when we sat down and talked about guys what he was looking at. So I could really just fill him in on what type of person, what type of work ethic, what type of guy he was going to be dealing with. But for the most part, when you turn on the film and you watch every game, you know what you're getting as far as a football player standpoint. And so that transition was fairly easy.
Schneidman.
Jerry, what's the next step for Kiki?
Yeah, the next step is to make like year 1 to year 2 was a huge step. Year 3 should be another drastic step for him. Obviously, affecting the quarterback, being more consistent in the run game, and just obviously building his brand. And that comes with all the hard work that he's put in the offseason and that we're doing right now and then once fall camp comes. So he's working and trending in the right direction, but definitely I expect him to take a drastic step again this year.
Huber.
Hey, Jerry, I'm not going to BS you. When I have some free time, I'm playing basketball with my kids and not watching Dean Lowry tape. but obviously you watch a lot more Dean. You know what he brings to the table. So, what do you like about Dean? Obviously, you guys just redid his contract a bit.
Yeah, you know what? Dean comes to work every day. He does everything you ask him to do. I would say we didn't have the greatest start last year, and I can say that not having them here in the offseason last year could have affected the way we started the season from a fundamental standpoint. But Dean made great progress, and I don't know if you guys watched that Tampa game at the end of the year, but him and Kenny inside dominated that line of scrimmage. I know the outcome wasn't what we wanted, but he was trending in the right direction there at the end of the year, exactly where we want him to be. So if he can start the way he finished the year off, we'll be heading in the right direction. But love his effort. He's a great teammate, and the guy just comes to work every single day like you're supposed to.
Time for two more. We'll go to Jason Roby.
Jerry, speaking of tough starts and dominant finishes, that was kind of how Kenny's year went too, right? I mean, he had the injury in Minnesota, and then he was great late in the season there and in the playoffs. What is the next step for him to become the elite player that I know he expects to be and you think he's capable of?
You know what? One thing about Kenny is he's driven in all the right ways. He's a self-starter. So he's going to get to where he needs to be. But ultimately, again, the offseason, he does a great job of training, but we didn't have a chance to work some fundamentals and things like that. So I think there was first couple of games, I think there across the board we started somewhat slow. But towards the end of the year, like I said, I mean, he just each week got better and better and better. But again, to answer your question, I think for him to do what he needs to do to take that next step is to keep doing what he's been doing because he's played at a high level. He's productive. He affects the quarterback. And like I said in the run game, I mean, he's if anything's around him, he's usually on it. So just excited about him and continue to grow.